Well, good evening out there. Thank you for joining us tonight. Another car talk here with my good old pal Clearwater Chad. And let's bring our buddy in. How we doing, Chad?
Hey, great, Pope. Like, great to be here.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. I see we got Daniel Sander, Grand Theft Hoopty, Boss Mama Goldie's here. Pasek Alex and Chitza are in the house right now. Folks, before we get into it too far, please do not do super chats. If you want to do something along those lines, follow the link to buy me a coffee, because the problem I'm having right now is every video that I get is being demonetized by YouTube, and I don't get the super chats. As all of you know already, it's not about the money for me. Any money that I get in for super chats or anything like that goes directly into buying new equipment for putting on better content for you, better quality experiences. And it just burns me up. The live stream Sunday night with Jeffrey Augustine has almost 17,000 views on it already. And I was just notified that it has been officially reviewed and rejected by a human, yet none of us can figure out why. And none of the other channels that it live streamed on are, let's see, I could turn off the super chats, Goldie. I'll have to get with you afterwards and see how that is. Yeah, if I can, I want to turn off super chats altogether. I'm not going to pay them to take money from me. So, and hi, Karen, how are we doing tonight? So, yeah, Hoopty, that's what happened. 17,000 views already on that video. And, YouTube hit it almost immediately afterwards, saying that it violated community guidelines. And like I said, even though every other channel that streamed it, none of them got hit for it, but they hit mine, and they have officially reviewed it by a human being, and it has been declared not suitable for ad revenue. And for some reason, all the super chats that came through on it, they disappeared as well. I sat trying to get it figured out with a YouTube representative, and they couldn't even tell me what the actual violation was, just that it's in violation, and that's how it is. That's how it's going to stand, and you're just going to have to deal with it. So, but nonetheless, I think that was probably one of the best live stream interviews I've done to date. So, what'd you think about that, Chad?
Yeah, I think that's pretty horrible if that's their attitude. Where they're
Yeah. What'd you think about Sunday night with Jeffrey?
Oh yeah, that was excellent. I love that show.
Yeah,
it's amazing that he's going to keep you guys doing the show. Yeah,
that's the first of a multi-part I'm going to be doing with Jeffrey. We're going to be doing some work on the actual name of the, I don't know what you call it, series is going to be busting the myth of Scientology's private investigators. And you got Jeffrey is a longstanding private investigator, and a very good one, as a matter of fact. And then you have me as a retired chief of police, former detective sergeant. So we bring in two very interesting views on private investigators, how to deal with them. We're going through the history of Scientology and the use of private investigators. And we're going to lead up to how their tactics have changed. Maybe not their tactics, but their techniques that they're using to achieve the same goals, how they've evolved over the years, and what we're looking at nowadays, even though it seems like some of the stuff they're doing is still from the Flintstone age. In the left navigation menu, click monetization channel. All right. Excellent. Thank you, Alex. Thank you.
I love with Jeffries when he talks, when he's telling a story, you feel like you're in the story. You could picture everything.
Yeah. He's pretty cool. I think that he has been, there we go. Excellent. Wow. Thank you, Alex. I'm getting them turned off right now. Jeffrey is, first off, the guy is like uber intelligent to begin with. Yeah. If you watch any of his content, you know about him and doing the money trail with Scientology, where all that money is going.
Absolutely.
You know, that's the problem, Alex, is I have every video that I get gets struck with the demonetization. And then after it's over with, you know, you'd think I would get the revenue back at that point. I've received none of it, and I was told that I won't be receiving any of it. So,
Jeez.
it seems. Plus, I know that they just recently rolled out some new community guidelines that are. It's just a mess, and there's just more ways of taking away from people. Uh, and also, folks, if you know you want to support, but you don't want to support YouTube, I also every live stream that I do, I now upload to Rumble. There's a link in the description below. So yeah, it's just I don't know what's going on with YouTube. I don't know what their issue is, their malfunction, whatever it is, but there's some problems that are going on. Sure, Alex. Yeah, yeah. Let's definitely try. I've been wanting to get hold of you anyway. I think it'd be great to get you on also with one of the live streams with Jeffrey or with Karen Delacarriere, and talk about you know, a lot of things that are going. Yeah, I like snakes. Karen likes the birds. So
Nice.
for you know, for me, birds have just never been something I've really been into. Grew up with raising chickens on the farm and everything. So you know, I've always looked at them more as I don't know, food source, something like that, because you know, growing up on a farm, that's what they are. Plus, I've also seen they just seem to me they just get I don't like them. The only birds I really like are I like the hummingbirds that come out on my feeders out in the backyard. So it's pretty cool stuff. Well, Alex, you know what they say, you love me, you gotta love them too. So
Yeah.
wait till you get over here and I'll introduce you to some of my friends, some what they
Time
call
to
them.
go.
Yeah. What they call them, death worms or whatever they call them. Toxic ribbons. So all right, Chad, what do you know about motorcycles, man?
I don't know too much, but I'm eager to learn, Paul.
Yeah, anybody who knows me knows I've ridden motorcycles pretty much my whole life. Let's see, this was my baby. Mine. I don't like new motorcycles. I like older motorcycles. This was my 1993 Harley Davidson Fat Boy.
Wow.
Took the front rim off, put it through a polishing process, made it look like a mirror by the time it was done. Absolutely loved that bike. And man, was that bike fast. Wow. You know, and I'm one of those, I don't really care about speed, but that bike is pretty much hold your horses, because it's gonna throw you. Dave from Gotta Love Thailand is here. Dave is
It is.
good old pal of mine, does some great content from streaming live from Thailand. Dave, I was just showing him my last old bike. We're going to have to get you on for one of these so you can talk about your experiences with motorcycles. Where did it go? Oh, there she is. That was my old bike there, Dave, my 93 Fat Boy. So had the Magna Charger. If you look on the right there in the middle, right underneath the gas tank under the Harley logo, you can see that big chrome piece sticking out of the side of the engine there. It's called a Magna Charger. And what it basically does is it's supposed to compress the air that's coming in and shoot it into the carburetor, kind of like a poor man's supercharger, I guess they'd call them. Had the straight pipes coming off of it. Yeah, it was loud. It'd wake Satan. So it was a loud bike. So, and I've only ever owned one bike that didn't have bags on it. For me, bags are a must. So have you ever even ridden a Chitsa? I don't like motorcycles. That's why I have 8 of them.
Wow, that's a lot. That's great.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Alex, the Suzuki Intruder, man. Those are some interesting bikes. Fast, real fast bikes. My goodness. Dave, what do you got now? I know you had the big one that's the big touring style that you were riding. You know, you got to remember over in Asia, there's a lot of styling more towards the scooter aspect of things and that styling. Dave's got a nice one. You know, our buddy Dana from Idea Studio Bangkok. He's got one of those Honda 125s or something. It looks like a mini bike almost. Let's see.
Excellent.
My uncle in Canada has an R3, completely different type of bike, but what a beast. Yeah. My brother had a Hayabusa, Forza 350. Okay, that's it. Yeah. I think that's pretty nice. Dana's like, it's underpowered. You know what? Like I said, I'm not interested in speed. I'm interested in, I want comfort. I want reliability. That's what I want. I don't really care about the speed aspect of it. But for those of you that are wondering, this is what Dave's bike looks like there. That's the
Ooh,
Forza
that's sharp.
350. I think his is like tan or green, light green. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've seen it, Dave, but that's basically what it is. Nice, comfortable, easy riding bike. Oh, you got a 2008 Dyna. Those are nice. The Sinclair 5. Alex, if you're giving me another one of those funky motorcycles, Sinclair 5, I'm going to look it up. There we go. Sinclair C5. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember that. We've shown that one before. Dave, you might want to look at this one instead of buying that tuk-tuk you were talking about. This might be a little bit better for you. Let's see here. There we go. I think they call that the Chadwick.
That's actually pretty cool.
I think that's, Alex, isn't that the one that's pedal powered? Like pedal and electric powered? Oh, yours is black, Dave? Okay.
I'll stay here all night if we're talking about that thing. I like anything three wheels. Anything three wheels that looks like a UFO or a spaceship.
Yeah, it's kind of funky. But you know, I mean, this is where innovation comes from. If people don't try something new, how can we ever expand on our knowledge? How can we ever, you know, come out with the new styling, the new equipment, the new technology that we're doing? And that's a, you know, that if you're not willing to push the envelope, how are you ever going to learn? Let's see. Chitsa, I live in a 350 square foot house and have 1,400 square foot garage for my bikes. Woodworking tools. It's where I spend most of my time. That is awesome.
That is great. I would do that.
Let's see. The Yamaha Tri-City. I haven't seen that before. It may be under a different name here in America, though. You know, that's one of the things is that you'll see them. Oh, I know what you're talking about. I hate those things. Got a friend that had one and about killed himself on it. That thing, it's so funky. I think for someone that if it's your first experience, that might be the kind of thing you would ride. What do you think about that, Chad?
I think that'd be a little easier for me to ride with the two wheels up front like that.
Yeah, a buddy of mine had one. He ordered one from China. It wasn't this exact model, but he got one and it was just so funky to ride that thing. It, you know, you get used to certain ways of riding when you're riding a standard two wheeler, you know, you're leaning into your curves and things like that. Dave, seriously, yours has front and rear cameras and GPS.
Wow.
I thought you was old school, Dave. I didn't know you did like that. Yeah, it's well, actually, it's a Alex. That's a European. That's an Asian style that came in, and it's probably probably one of those things where you know it's gotten very popular over there in France. But we are talking the French, so let's see. Let's see. Just I have no idea what is a Piaget. I've never seen one.
Does she mean Peugeot?
I don't know.
Peugeot's another French car.
Yeah,
I'm sure you know that. Yeah, but yeah.
The Piaggio. Yeah, it's the same thing. Okay. Yep. The Piaggio. Let me see if I can find a good size picture so we can all see. Yeah, they're neat. They're strange. That's for sure. But what bothers me about them is you know, for me, someone who's used to being on those two wheels and all that, going to that, I'd probably end up killing myself. But there's the Piaggio.
Those cool. Hey, Willie, after that, Willie's asking about the This is one of my dream cars, the Ampera. I don't know if I'm saying that right. The Ampera solar car.
Okay, let's see. Aptera solar car.
Yeah, Aptera. Sorry, it's a great
Well,
car.
let's take a look.
You know,
Folks, you know how this works. We start off with a topic, but it can go anywhere.
Yep.
You know, if you've got questions, throw them out there. Let's talk about them. You got ideas or things that you're into, put them out there. We'll, you know, that's the thing. These car talks are just as much about you being part of it as us. That's kind of
you love it, don't you, Poe?
Looks like a dolphin, don't it?
I don't know, but it's got the solar panels on it.
First glance, I'm like, nah. And the more I look at it, I'm like, kind of digging it.
Yep.
It looks like those 1950 styling cars where they said they were the airplane that was made into a car. Remember those old ads and stuff like that?
Yeah, it does kind of. You're right. It does kind of look like a dolphin.
Yeah, it looks almost like a dolphin, or like one of those 1950s or 60s styles cars where they designed the car after the current trends in airplanes and jet fighters and all that.
But this is their second shot of doing it. Like the first company went out of business, and then this guy bought it out, and they're actually, I believe, they're in production right now.
Wow.
I don't know how far they are. Yeah.
Oh, here's one in a different color. So let's take a look at that one and see. This one, it's a different color, and it has a couple people with it, so you can actually get a look at how it is.
That's cool.
Let me scroll it down so we put it in the center there. It looks like it's got pretty good spacing.
Yeah.
I like that matte black finish. I like the matte black on anything, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Looks like a neat interior there too. Very clean. Looks like it has the you know, where they have the tablets or the iPads. I know that in aircraft they call them glass or digital control panels. So it's got racing seats on it instead of like your standard car seat. It's got more of a racing style seat there. I'm trying to wrap my head around these front fender pylons they've got there. I see it's got the Lambo doors.
Yeah.
Looks sleek. Just don't know if it's something that I would be into, but you know, I mean, it's neat. Let's see. Yeah, John Sosalski says it looks like what James Bond would drive underwater. So, What, Willie? You say it's got room to sleep in the back?
That'd be cool.
Come on now. These cars nowadays, my goodness. Let's see. We got anything else there? Yeah, Chits, I know. Autocorrect it. Oh, it's enough to drive me nuts. Let's see. Okay, cool. Let me check real quick. Dave says he sent a picture of his new 125 Trail. I knew you were talking about getting one of those. I saw that in one of your streams there. There we go. Excellent. Oh, I love those. You might like this, Chad. This brings back my memories from childhood. That's for sure.
All right.
Look at that.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah. You ought to see Dave's got some really cool stuff out there. He's got a big old koi pond in his backyard and all that. Those are neat. I love those little Hondas. And I think Harley Davidson has come out and now has one that's somewhat similar to that. Hey, Duncan is here.
Hey, Duncan.
What's going on, Duncan? So we've been talking about the different kinds of cars and motorcycles, just different things. And someone had sent in the Aptera. In case you've never seen it, Duncan, there's what it looks like. That's I'm the jury's still out on that one for me. I'm digging it, but I also find it to be I don't know, maybe a little too futuristic for me. On a charge, solar only gives it about 35 miles a day. Wow. It gets 1,000 miles.
Yep, the best battery. There's 3 different packs. Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Wow, that's amazing. 1,000 miles. You know what? I got to find out. You know, my wife might be interested in that. The big thing is that The reason why we haven't gone to electric for her is owning a having the courier service and everything. She's putting 200 to 300 miles on the car a day, and for a lot of these electric cars, they just can't handle that kind of mileage. And can you get it charged enough by the time you get home and then the next morning when you have to leave? So that's one of our biggest challenges with an electric vehicle for her. Hey, Marjan, what's going on? Oh yeah, it's afternoon for you there. It's 8:20 at night for us. So,
you were on to Circle. You were on to something, Poe, last when you had the hybrid. That's the way to go. Either hybrid or plug-in hybrid.
I'm looking at, well, like I was talking about, I'm going to probably end up getting one of those Ford Mavericks. And the reason for that is because I want a truck. I need a truck. I need something that's going to haul a trailer for me. I need something where I can put stuff in the bed of it. But I don't want a full size, helping out with the courier service and all that. Having a full size truck is just a waste of gas for me. But I can get one of those, one of the Ford Mavericks, and those things are getting really good gas mileage. And I'm looking right now, I'm trying to find one that's 4-wheel drive that is also a hybrid. Yep. So that would make a big difference for me. Chitsa, I live near Barber Motorsports. There's a museum with one of just about every bike ever made. Lots of old bikes. Their sponsor is Vintage Motorcycle Festival in October. They sponsor a Vintage Motorcycle Festival in October. And where is that at, Chitsa? Let's see. It's supposed to sell pretty cheap, huh, Willie? That'd be interesting. So, all right. Yeah. So getting into things, when we talk about motorcycles, we have to talk about the history of motorcycles. And it's widely acknowledged that the first ever motorcycle that was put out there was the Daimler Reitwagen, made in Germany. It was the first motorcycle, and it was, as I recall, it was a steam-powered motorcycle. Let's see here, I'm looking at it right now. I believe it was steam-powered, and it was the company that made it went on to become the world-famous Daimler Chrysler. And they actually changed their name to Daimler-Benz at one point. But this is the first production motorcycle that they put out. I don't know how I would feel about sitting on top of that tank like that. If you look right there, you see you got the crank right here. I don't know what that would even be. It's a wooden frame, wooden wheels. And it's got the handlebars are on this weird S-shaped bend there. This is back before production stamping, a lot of that stuff. So some of this stuff was probably either blacksmithed out or they, hand turned on it. But not very fast. And as you see down here at the bottom, it even had trading wheels for you.
Wow.
So that one came out in 1885. And I know that there are folks who say, well, wasn't Indian Motorcycle the first? No. The fact is that I'm trying to get it right now. Actually, the first company that produced motorcycles in the United States, or production of motorcycles in the United States, was the Waltham Manufacturing Company, and they originally made bicycles, and then they made the switch over and started making motorcycles, with their first one being called the Orient, which was released in 1899, and it was released in Massachusetts. Charles Metz was the inventor of the motorcycle and the founder of the company. So when you look at that and then you think about it, the next American motorcycle to come out was, probably one of the most highly regarded in motorcycle history here in the United States, and that's the Indian Motorcycle Company. And it's often confused as the first American motorcycle manufacturer. It started off in Massachusetts also as a bicycle production business. It was originally called Hindy Manufacturing Company, and it was founded by George M. Hindy. They came out with their first production motorcycle in 1901, and it was extremely popular. Their most popular models, of course, are the Chief and the Scout. And then when you start looking into it from that point, the next major American manufacturer of motorcycles is, of course, the Harley Davidson Company. And they were founded in 1903 by William Sylvester Harley and Arthur Davidson. And put it in the comments there, Chad. Where's Harley Davidson from?
If I had to take a guess, probably Texas.
Okay, Dave, you better know this one. Where is Harley Davidson from? Oh, he's already taken off. Dave's probably getting ready for his live stream in a little bit here. Can anybody tell me where? Yeah, Duncan's sitting there talking about the original one, the Daimler right wagon. Come on, that tank can handle another 3 psi over. Oh my
that thing was scary.
Yeah, nothing like putting a steam bomb under your nether. Yeah. So yeah, that's oh Lord. So come on, folks. Somebody tell me where Harley's from. Marjan. Not too far off, but no, it's not Indiana. And it's not California. Duncan Honig, do you know where Harley Davidson's from? Don't you look on your phone, bud. So I'll give you guys a couple more minutes there while we talk about it. And motorcycles remained relatively consistent for years and years and years. John,
good job.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Give that man a prize. Yes, Harley Davidson came from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. If you go to their headquarters in Milwaukee, you can actually see the original building. It had been torn down. They pieced it back together, put it back together on site there in Milwaukee at the headquarters there. But they started in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Can anyone tell me how it is Harley Davidson became the icon that it is? What made it so famous? Chad, you have any idea?
Honestly, don't know.
Okay, anybody out there can? Hey, Dylan, what's going on? Dylan Chatterton. All right, so if you don't know what brought Harley Davidson to fame and made it such a standout, number one, of course, is it was an American-made motorcycle, all American-made. But the thing that really boosted it above everybody else, like Indian and the other motorcycle companies that were available at the time, yeah, Goldie, we'll talk about that in a minute here. The thing that made Harley Davidson so popular was World War II.
Huh.
A lot of soldiers went off to World War II and were able to ride the Harley Davidsons or saw them. Well, when they came back after World War II was over, and a lot of these folks were looking for work or they were looking for something just to wait, you got to remember, you come back from the war zone and you come back into society, you don't have that adrenaline rush, you don't have that way of getting out there and just blowing that steam off. Well, you could literally buy the military motorcycles that they were getting rid of for pennies on the dollar. So a lot of guys got those and they got out and they started riding. And John, we'll get into that in a little bit here. But the thing is that the Harley Davidson, because it was so inexpensive, that's how it became such an iconic thing. Was so many of our former soldiers, well, just anyone in general, could buy them from Duncan. AMC comes in later than when they actually purchase Harley Davidson. But at that point, they are, you have all these soldiers that are picking them up. They're getting this anger, this PTSD, these sensations out, and they're going out and they're hitting the roads hard with the motorcycles. One of the things that came about was we started getting clubs and associations. And you had a lot of them that were family groups and things like that. Well, these guys, a lot of these guys didn't feel like wanting to be part of that. They wanted to be around other people like them. They wanted to be able to blow off steam. So what is generally associated with being the first outlaw motorcycle club is going to be a group called the Booze Fighters. And they were infamous for a big motorcycle rally that happened. And I'm trying to find the picture right now, but it made international headlines because they went to this huge motorcycle gathering, and I think it was the AMA, American Motorcycle Association, was the organization putting it on. And these guys went in there, and boy, they just tore the town up. And I'm trying to find it. I'm trying to find a better example of it. And that's it. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So this photo became internationally famous and pretty much brought all the attention of the world to motorcycles and the outlaw clubs. Oh. And this, even though this guy wasn't part of it, I believe at one point they doctored a picture where it made it look like he was part of a different group. There was also one where I think it appeared that he was passed out, either on the motorcycle or on the ground next to the motorcycle. But this photo became infamous. It became synonymous with the whole thing of you don't want to mess around with motorcycle clubs, and started getting them a bad image for it. Well, the AMA came out and said that the outlaw motorcycle clubs like that were only 1% of the actual motorcycling community, that the other 99% were law-abiding, good family people. So when you start looking at your major outlaw clubs in the United States, a lot of them are called what is a 1%er, where they have a diamond-shaped patch with a 1% in there. And the thing is that the 1%ers, that's a badge of honor for them. Yeah, we're not like everybody else. We're our own individual thing. And that's where the whole outlaw motorcycle thing came from. And that was from a big thing that happened. Well, a lot of people started staying away from motorcycles because of the image of the 1% clubs and all that. And then something happened that changed the way people thought about motorcycles. Harley Davidson was the biggest seller of motorcycles in the United States. And then this little company came out of nowhere, came out of Japan, and their slogan put them through the roof. The slogan was, "You meet the nicest people on a Honda."
Wow.
That little slogan right there, and this is the Honda CA100, which was the bike that was introduced to the United States on the part of the Honda Motorcycle Company. 100cc little motorcycle. But the thing is that it sold like wildfire, because a lot of people didn't want to be associated with things like the outlaw clubs, the 1% clubs, those kinds of things. So what they did was they saw the Honda, something completely different, something out of the norm. And it actually looked like it was built a lot better. The problem with the Harleys, and I can attest, having owned a few vintage Harleys, is that you ride them for a half hour, you have to wrench on them for 4. That's the general standard. And when you park your Harley, you need to park it over a box of kitty litter, because it's going to be dripping and puking all over the floor. And I mean oil. And that was just the standard for them. But they're easily worked on, and they can be a problem. But these Hondas came out, required little to no maintenance. They are good running little bikes, run forever. I could tell you, I had a Yamaha Roadstar 1600, and I could finish riding it for the end of the year, put the fuel saver into the tank, park it in the garage, and come out when winter was over with, get on that bike, start it right back, and it would start right up. My Harleys had to be on a battery tender for the entire winter, or there was no way you were getting that bike started. You have to go and buy a new battery for it, because that battery would be absolutely drained. Let's see. Chitza, I have a Honda CT90. They're fun, other than the Kickstarter. Yeah, my 77 Shovelhead that I had was a Kickstarter. And let me tell you, I think that thing tried to give me a heart attack more than one time. So, Chad, I could see you on one of these.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
little Honda there. It's a nice kind. It looks like the Vespa or something like that without the front cowling that goes on the Vespas there. Marjan, if I didn't have a health problem, I would love to go to Alaska with a motorcycle. Well, I did the American Circuit, as they call it. And that was where I left out from here, rode all the way over to Seattle, went north from Seattle to Alaska, back all the way down, following the coast down to the bottom of California, rode the bottom border of the United States all the way over to Florida, down to Key West, Florida, then back up all the way to Maine, rode it back around along the U.S.-Canadian border, back to Detroit. And they called, that was the border circuit that a lot of people talk about. We did that, and that took us, I think it was almost a month to finish that run. And you talk about having an iron butt when you're done with that one. Whew, your hind end was a hurting. So, motorcycles pretty much stayed predominantly looking the same way for decades. There wasn't a whole lot of improvement. And then the 60s rolled around. And with the 60s came a completely, everybody wanted something different. They didn't want the norm. They didn't want your mom and dad's old motorcycle that they used to ride around with. They wanted something that was completely different, something that was their own. So they started doing something that was called chopping. Now, this is a modern version. This is made by a company out of South Carolina called Redneck Engineering. They are actually a very top-notch engineering company that makes fantastic motorcycles, and they also make the frames for them as well. You can buy an entire bike in a kit, put it together, and you would have a bike looking like that's just a gorgeous chopper. It's the extended, the neck height is higher, and it's kicked back on the rake of the front end there on the forks, putting that front wheel out. And I can tell you, if you've never ridden a motorcycle, that is not what you want to get on for your first bike. But, because they're very unstable. They can be hard, especially at slow speeds. They're hard to keep them up on two wheels. And if you've never ridden a motorcycle, they're just hard on you. And a lot of people don't realize it, but the word chopper actually comes from back in the 50s and 60s, when guys were taking their motorcycles and they were taking everything off of them that wasn't needed to operate the motorcycle. They were taking off any cosmetics. They were taking off things that just had no purpose on the motorcycle other than, it's a bag or something like that. So what they were doing was they were chopping them down, and that's where the term chopper came from. Nowadays, when you're looking at a chopper, you're thinking the Orange County choppers, West Coast choppers kind of things. But when you actually hear about it and you're looking up what a chopper is, they now call them bobbers. That's the current term for them, but they are a different animal altogether. And that would be this one right here is an example of a bobber. And whereas you can see they've taken off, this would have the big Harley gas tank on it, and what they did was they took that off. They put a Sportster gas tank on, or they would common times use a peanut gas tank on it. They've literally taken everything off this motorcycle to strip the weight down on it, make it a little bit easier to ride. Of course, with it being lighter, that means that it's more agile, easier to operate. Now, you can't have this kind of motorcycle in Michigan if you're over the age of 25 years old, because this is a rigid chopper, meaning it has no rear suspension on it. The only thing you've got in the rear is the springs on the seat right here. Believe me, I've ridden my share of rigids, and yeah, they suck. Believe me, you get off of those and your back feels like it's made out of powder or jello from that point. Let's see. The Honda CT90. I don't know if I looked that one up yet or not, Chitsa. Let's see. There we go. Honda CT90. Chitsa's got a Honda CT90. And I think that you'll see, Chad, how this looks so much like that original one that came in. So let's pull that up and show everybody real quick there. All right, there we go. What do you think about that, Chad?
That looks pretty cool. I like it.
You see how similar it looks to the original one that Honda brought into the United States there?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and that's the thing is like I was saying, these Hondas are unimaginably easy to deal with, very easy to work on. They are just good bikes all around. Unbelievable longevity on them. I really oh, Chitsa, we did I say a month? No, it took us almost 2 months. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, we literally white knuckled everything. We were doing we would ride for 12 to 16 hours at a time, stop for a few hours, eat, fuel up. We had a crash truck following us, and we had they were carrying fuel in that because we were going into areas where we couldn't even find gas stations. So yeah, but you got to remember that was in the 90s when we did that. So we're talking 30 years ago, I think. About 30 years ago when we made that run. And oh my gosh. Yeah, when we were finished with that run, we were pretty much done. Didn't even want to look at a motorcycle for a while after that. That motorcycle, I think, had actually infused into my own DNA at that point. It was, it's one of the most horrible yet memorable things I've ever done in my life. It was great. Chits, I always wanted to do the South America run where you run down the Panama Panhandle and all that. And then I found out about there's areas there that are just absolutely unnavigable. Of course, my new project is getting everything put together so I can make this run from the top to the bottom of Vietnam. And then from there, I want to go to up through Cambodia, Laos, to the top of Thailand, ride Thailand all the way down until I hit the sea at the bottom of Singapore there. I think that one will be absolutely awesome. So, but, in talking about all of these different things, innovation in motorcycles for a long time seemed quite stifled. And now we're starting to see with the invention of, better and better electric vehicles, which our pal Clearwater Chad here is quite synonymous with.
That's very cool.
Christopher Green. Those Hondas were sold here in South America for years, up until the late 90s. Every now and then, I still see them on the road. Go over to Asia, Southeast Asia. You're gonna see them. They're crazy. Wow. It's crazy. You see them over there. Let's see. But with the invention of, with all this new technology that's coming out with electrics, it was only a matter of time before motorcycles got into the mix as well. And I was surprised, as Chad and I were talking about electric vehicles and all that, is how many electric motorcycles are already out there and the pricing on them. The first one here is going to be the Sondors, Sondors motorcycle. It's kind of neat. Looks like almost like a crotch rocket cafe racer mix. I'm kind of freaky about that big hole right there, but because I'm used to seeing either a gas tank or an engine in there. And this one, here's the thing, $6,500 for it. $6,500.
Wow.
It's mainly a city bike with only a 60-mile range on it. Let's see here. It has a top speed of 60 miles an hour in drive mode, 80 miles an hour in sports mode. But you look at that, and it looks like it's primarily made of like carbon fiber, possibly aluminum, but it weighs 300 pounds. So that's a pretty hefty bike. On this one, it says the pros on it are unique head turning style, package for its price, good fast charging speeds. That's awesome. Brakes feel inadequate. For the cons, suspension isn't the most plush, and the seat is hard and not easily removable. Well, a hammer and a screwdriver, I bet I find a way. Now, this one's interesting. This is the Super Soco TC, and it shows a price of $4,140. And this one right here, let's see. And this one's primarily made for city usage, has a top speed of 28 miles an hour, only weighs 167 pounds without the battery. How much with the battery? Has a range of 44 miles, extended to 78 miles with a dual battery setup. And along the same lines, kind of like the Cafe Racer mixed with a crotch rocket styling on there. Pretty neat looking thing. Then we have the Persang E-Tracker. I just wish they'd come up with some better names for these things. Let's see, modern styling. I don't know. It kind of looks like a 90s, early 2000s crotch rocket from this angle. Let's see. And this one is only $10,000. Has a range of 74 miles, top speed of 68 miles an hour, and a curb weight of 324 pounds. Let's see here. Pros, timeless retro. Timeless retro modern look. That means it looks old. Feels refined. Carbon fiber body panels. Cons, it takes a long time to charge. No established dealership in the mainland United States, and comes at a premium cost. You know what? When you're looking at Harleys that are costing over 30 grand, I don't see how that's really that different. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Eric Buell. And if you're familiar with Eric Buell, he brought out a styling which was the Harley Davidson crotch rocket called the Buell, Buell. Well, now he's got an electric bike out called the Fuel. $10,500 price tag on it. Still well under what you're going to be paying for a lot of Harley Davidsons out there. I don't even think you can buy a Sportster for that little anymore. Top speed of 85 miles an hour and a range of 150 miles. Let's see here. 400 pounds. Wow. It's a pretty hefty bike. Let's see.
I didn't realize there were so many electric bikes coming out, Paul.
Well, this is the top 15. If there's the top 15, think about how many of them there are all together.
Absolutely. Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. Let's see. The pros for this one: possesses a crazy amount of torque. Okay. 150 mile range. Regenerative braking works like a charm. You have any idea what regenerative braking means?
Yeah, when you hit the brakes, energy will go right back in your batteries to.
Oh, okay. So like in the Honda Civic that my wife had, whereas you're either coasting or on the brakes, it puts charge back into the battery system there.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. Cons: beginner electric riders may feel overwhelmed with the torque. That we saw that with the electric cars versus the electric supercars versus, say, your Ferrari or your Lamborghini, where you had the Lotus electric that was would literally almost tear your head off. So that's pretty interesting. Cons: shorter riders may find it difficult to maneuver the bike. Now that's going to be it's a heavy bike, and it seems like it's kind of tall, so may not be affordable for all riders. It's still, like I said, it's coming in at a price at less than what your standard Harley would be. Cake, Caulk, and what in the world kind of name? It's from the Swedish company Cake Set. Cake set out to create the ultimate spare no expense, lightweight, high performance electric dirt bike. Oh, this is a dirt bike. It's coming in at about 14 grand, a range of 53 miles. Come on. Top speed of 60 miles an hour, but it only weighs 174 pounds. So that's not bad. Let's see. Pros are its high-grade hardware, easy to maneuver, simple to ride, well-rounded fit and finish. Cons: pricey, not easily available everywhere. If you ever run into trouble, it would be tough to find parts. And I think you're going to find that with any of these new electric bikes that are coming out. Yeah. This one I think is pretty slick. The Livewire Del Mar S2.
It looks slick, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that one, it's another one kind of has that cafe crotch rocket kind of vibe to it, but it also has like a futuristic kind of vibe. Let's see. modular aero platform is the first of a series of models that will be released in the coming years, squarely at a mass market of electric bikes. The platform includes batteries, electronics, a motor, and can have different steering heads and swing arms bolted to it to create different variants. Oh, okay. So that's the whole modular thing. Yeah, where you can interchange different parts, and you can, your bike looks one way Monday, and Tuesday it looks like a completely different bike. So has a range of 110 miles. Let's see, it has a 124 mile an hour top speed, approximate 431 pounds. Great handling characteristics, well designed, possesses decent power to take you around town. It's on the heavier side, lacks the convenience of fast charging, limited use for out of town rides. Well, yeah, you'd think on that. None of these really have any fantastic ranges on them. And that one's $15,500. This one looks kind of neat. It's the Damon Hyper Fighter. Let's see.
I like the yellow.
Yeah, that's kind of slick, almost like a Bumblebee motorcycle.
Yep.
I'm trying. Let's see. Not all these say where they're from, and that's the thing. This one has a range of 120 miles. Top speed of 150. That's pretty daggone good. This one has the ability of reaching a peak horsepower of 200 horsepower and 170 mile an hour top speed. That's pretty good. Heavy again, but most of these are going to be heavy because of the batteries on them. And that's, let's see here. The weight is 440 pounds. Impressive performance numbers. Lets you adjust the handlebar and peg positions on the fly. You see that on coming out on a lot of bikes nowadays, is that it'll adjust either the handlebars or the foot pegs. 360-degree cameras. It's kind of like Dave was talking about having front and rear cameras on his bike. Lacks quality on a few parts here and there. Expensive. No confirmations from the brand about the curb weight. Okay. And that one comes in at about 20 grand.
Wow.
But you're also talking about a performance bike. You're not talking about just your off the shelf kind. Next one is called the Zero SRF. And we'll just jump down here. Range of 187 miles in the city, 124 on the highway. Top speed of 124, curb weight of 500 pounds. Wow. Boy, they're just getting heavier. Getting up there in that bagger weight. Ooh, look at this one, the Livewire 1. What does that look like?
Oh, I don't know.
I think I have an idea what that looks like. Pretty good there. Let's see here.
Looks pretty slick.
Let's see. I know I had one up. There we go. So if we're wondering what that looks like, there we go. All right. So we will, I think it kind of looks like this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Folks in the chat there, let me know if you know what that motorcycle is from. And Joel McCoy is in here. What's up?
Right. Hey, Joel.
He says hello to the Godfather. Folks, if you've never seen that motorcycle before, that was one of several in the movie Priest. And these were, I believe these were turbine-powered motorcycles, the way that they made them out to be. Just like humongously fast, like almost speed of sound fast. But yeah, these are the pretty crazy bikes. And I'm just glad to see that we're starting to see an evolution in motorcycles, and I think that that's a real good thing. I here in Michigan, I don't know about in other states, but in Michigan, last time I heard, have you heard of the Slingshot, the Polaris Slingshot, Chad?
Oh yeah, I actually do like those, the way they look.
When first time I saw one, I thought, wow, It kind of looks like a sports car from the front, and then I saw the back of it, and I was like, no, I don't know. But here we go, the Polaris Slingshot, and I think they're kind of cool, but I think that there's so many people who want to be, they literally want to be standing out in the crowd, driving around with these things. I've seen folks with LED lighting all over these things, looks like a Christmas tree or some kind of carnival ride. And then they've always got that horrible sound system going where they're playing just the most obnoxious music no matter where they go. And it's gotten to the point where I don't even like seeing these anymore, just because of the way people act with them. But that's something neat if you wanted to get into like almost a sports car kind of vibe. I've actually seen those on the highway. I don't know how in the world you're riding one on the highway, but hey, have at it if you think you got it there. So are there any motorcycles that you particularly like, Chad?
I mean, not to change the subject, but I mean, if I would go, I'd have to go with something like the Slingshot because I like to have at least three wheels.
Yeah, the Slingshot, like I said, I've always thought it was neat. And the older I get, the more I'm interested in the older I get, the more I'm thinking about it's going to have to come to a point where I'm going to have to be looking towards a three-wheeler. I don't see myself at 70 some years old still trying to hold up a bagger, but three-wheelers certainly make it easier. I like the ones that have the integrated suspension and handling, whereas you're going around a corner, the suspension will lean with the bike so that you're not giving that whole thing where the whole bike wants to tip up on one side and everything. And hey, Scientology Geek Air, what's up? No, take a look at my community tab on my channel. You'll see what the new thing is. So I had a sinkhole open up in my driveway because somewhere along the lines, one of the relief lines that takes the water away from the area, all of the storm water, there's a break in the line somewhere, and all that water went rushing under my driveway, opened up a 10-foot long, 9-foot wide, 3-foot deep sinkhole in my driveway. So thank goodness we've got a horseshoe shaped driveway. So an H shape, I shouldn't say horseshoe. So literally we have two exits out of our driveway. But if we didn't have that, we'd be kind of in a bit of trouble because I don't want anybody driving over the area to the side of that. It's just wonderful. Joel McCoy, never been a bike guy. My auction partner just got a Slingshot. It's okay, not for me. Too much money, too little else. And that's another thing. I mean, if you're in California, Arizona, someplace like that where you have warm weather all the time, that would be great. Very little rainfall. The thing is that here in Michigan, you got to ride it for a few months and then you got to put it up just like a motorcycle.
Yep.
And at the price they want for those Slingshots, I just don't see as it's anything that would be worth it for me. And something that kind of drives me crazy is like when we have the Woodward Dream Cruise and things like that, there's like 350 of them show up. I always thought it was interesting. Here you are at the Classic Car Cruise of America, and you had 500 PT Cruisers that jumped into it. Yeah, let's see. The PT Cruisers are okay. They're good little cars. My kids have had them, loved them to death. It's not a classic car. Come on, you're just buying a car off the lot and driving it out into the Woodward Dream Cruise. Marjan, I'm going to California next week, and I really don't like how motorcycles can drive in between cars on the highway. Well, there's especially when you're talking about traffic jams, a lot of in most states where if it's legal, it's legal, and your insurance company has to cover it. But the thing is that lane splitting like that, or lane threading, whichever you want to call it, is necessary, especially for bikes like Harley Davidsons that are air cooled. You can't sit there with the bike running for a half hour waiting to move a half mile. Whereas you're able to lane split and keep going, you can keep the air going over the engine and keep the bike cooled down enough so that it doesn't damage the engine. So yeah. Thank you, Scientology Geek. I still plan on trying to get in touch with you. But as you see, it's just been one dog week for me. So, I mean, it took us 3 days to cut out all the carpet, move out the furniture. I was telling Chad we got a $7,000 king size bed that was down there in the basement that's just absolutely ruined. Nothing we can do about it. The mattress is done, the box springs are done, and what do you do? First time in almost 15 years, and we never had flooding in our basement. And now we have this, and it's all because the power was out for over 8 hours. So, all right, Jad, anything else you can think about, or any questions from the chat there? Throw them up there. I've ridden motorcycles since I was a child. My first one being a Husqvarna dirt bike, 80cc dirt bike. Those Huskies were really well known for the fact that they were just monster torque bikes in the dirt bike range. They were just well built, well handling and all that, but that was my first experience on it. At 16 years old, got an Ironhead Sportster that was a product of my uncle and my father working and putting together a basket case bike, and turned out into being a real nice bike. And we'll see, January, February. 3 months later, was on that bike riding 1,200 miles from southwestern Ohio all the way down to Daytona, Florida, with my father and my uncle. And it was a hardtail. It had no suspension in the rear, had the spring seat like I showed you on the bobber, and it hurt real bad. So riding 1,200 miles on a bike like that. This will be up your alley, Chad. Joel McQueen. I know a guy who got an electric bike, good one, big money. He has had it for 6 years, rides it every day. The weather lets him, and probably 50% of the time, and has given him no problems. Seems like an okay alternative. What do you think, Chad?
Chad agrees. That's a great comment, Joel.
Chad and his electric eel bike. And folks, if you didn't see it, I didn't put it up. Thinking about my new background for the channel.
Nice.
Little car talk.
Oh, that's a cool background. I thought we're turning into your channel into an all Night Rider channel.
Oh no, that's the Chadwick channel there. So, Chad, I'm thinking about doing another fundraiser for the Aftermath Foundation. You interested?
Oh, of course.
All right, we'll get together and see what we can do with that. See what we can get together, and just something to help with the Aftermath Foundation. I have a feeling they're having a lot more people are blowing and coming out, and the Aftermath Foundation more than ever is going to be needing some help with things. So I could see another one. I am getting very close now, folks. Let me see here real quick. I am 1,245 subscribers from 5,000. So we're making the rush now. So make sure you hit that like, subscribe, share the content as much as possible. Like I said, I'm on that push now. I want to hit that 5,000 subscriber mark. Let me get this daggone backdrop off of here. It's going to give me a seizure. So, once I hit that 5,000 mark, that's a pretty big hurdle there. Big thank you to Jeffrey Augustine. Sunday night, I literally picked up 500 new subscribers just from that alone. So it's been pretty interesting. All right, Chad, you got anything else about motorcycles there?
No, this was a lot of fun though.
Yeah, I always enjoy these. We learned quite a bit, and we get to hear. Oh, very good idea there, Joel.
Maybe.
Auction off some of Chad's artwork. So, yeah. We'll have to sit down and think about things. We'll figure out what we can do with it and where we can go. Do us another good one, and hopefully we can raise a good amount of money for the Aftermath Foundation to support those who are leaving Scientology and have nowhere else to turn. And folks, if you are a member of Scientology and you're secretly watching out there and you don't want anybody to know and you don't know what to do, there are avenues for you. You can get out. You don't have to be locked into this. You can find your way to safety. The aftermathfoundation.org is there for you. They'll do everything that they can to help get you out quietly, get you somewhere anonymously, and help to try to get you back on your feet and get you into society and being able to take care of yourself, support yourself, and if you need, your family. So, Chad, as always, thank you so very much, sir. I truly appreciate it. I love doing these. Like I said, I'm never worried about the monetization or anything like that. These don't, they don't draw the huge numbers, but they're fun and they're educational. We have a good time, get to hang out and just talk about anything we want to. So, any parting thoughts there, Chadwick?
Trying to think. Today's Wednesday. Trying to think what Saturday with the Neverins and Mark Terry. If anyone wants to watch it on Chad's channel, and
excellent.
I think that's the only thing I really could plug.
Sunday night, I'll be back. I'll be getting in touch with Jeffrey Augustine. You can look for more coming up on my channel with the Busting the Myth of Scientology's Private Investigators with Jeffrey Augustine. Plus, we have some other things we're going to be looking into. I'll get hold of Apostate Alex here in the next day or so. I want to get Apostate Alex back on, have another good run with that. We always have a really good time with hanging out with Apostate Alex. Let's see. Add on. Motorcycles hate me. They see my lazy eye and realize, let it go with those rides, man. Well, depth perception is big on a motorcycle. So, all right, folks, as always, I appreciate each and every one of you. I thank you so very much for being here. Without you, there is no channel. And remember, life is short. We get one shot. So make it count. And thank you very much.